there's a whole lot of lessons to be learned out of that. One, nothing is ever off the record, and there's all sorts of levels of on and off the record these days that weren't there even 10 years ago. I mean, you've got journalists, working journalists, who say things in their blogs that they would never say on camera or on paper.
But Mike, I think whoever it was that went quacking to Duncan Garner knew exactly what they were doing. Yes.
Oh, I think so, and
yes.
and that goes to internal discipline. And what they should be doing is nose down, bum up, work on your policies, work on your organisation, make the review of the party work, and stop looking backwards. And that would be the kind of discipline I'd exert if I was there. But the problem always is working out who it was.
It's now sitting at 30-31. The Green Party's sitting at 15. Winston Peters, well, I think, he'll prefer National over Labour. You never know. Mana might get an extra seat. Who knows? So, in fact, David Shearer is relatively close to becoming Prime Minister, and therefore if you're a highly ambitious person who's not as loyal to the party as you are to yourself, say like you're someone like David Cunliffe, you might then think, well, I'll roll this guy because in fact we're very close to winning the next election, and oppositions always are close.
Well, I think you've unfairly knifed David Cunliffe. I know David Cunliffe well, and whatever you may read about him, I always found him a team player. And he was a very good minister. He untangled the whole telecom schmozzle to all of our benefits, something that Maurice Williamson couldn't do in 10 years.
Well, whatever. He took 5 weeks off, to go to France with his family, which is fair enough. But I interpret that as him having his last family holiday before he makes the move. I expect it to come in November, and I think there's a reasonable chance that either him or Shearer, of course, could become Prime Minister.
Well, of course, after November, the new rules of the Labour Party will come in and it'll become much more difficult.
That's why that is a deadline. That leak to Duncan Garner, and while we do not know who did do that leak, while it appeared to smear and attack David Cunliffe, the very fact of raising the leadership was harmful to the existing leader, David Shearer. So, in fact, it was a beautifully strategic leak. If you were wanting to promote someone other than David Shearer or David Cunliffe, and if you were wanting to promote someone to come through the middle, and I'm not suggesting, of course, for a moment that Grant Robertson had anything to do with it, but he is a very astute politician after 20 years in student politics, the United Nations and Helen Clark's office, and maybe, it's possible, I'm just speculating, someone close to him saw the leak to Duncan Garner as useful for taking out both Davids.
You must have a copy of Machiavelli by your beard, Matthew.
Just like you do, Mike.